All right, we're diving into something that's moving way, way faster than almost anyone predicted, artificial intelligence. And according to a new analysis from a former OpenAI insider, we are right on the edge of a massive, world-altering transformation. So let's get into it.
And that quote, it just nails the core of the issue. See, we're not just talking about smarter chatbots anymore. We're talking about systems that can look at their own code, find their own flaws, and then fix them, creating this insane feedback loop where they get exponentially better, while we humans are kind of stuck improving one step at a time.
So the big question is, how close are we to this, really? Is this some distant sci-fi problem for our grandkids to worry about, or is it something we need to get our heads around right now? Well, an insider who actually helped build these systems has laid out a timeline, and honestly, it's pretty startling.
Okay, so let's start with who's sounding this alarm. This isn't some critic on the outside looking in. This is someone who was in the room, on the team that built GPT-4. And what he's saying now is sending shockwaves through the entire AI world.
The guy we're talking about is Leopold Aschenbrenner, and his big report called Situational Awareness isn't just about what AI can do today. Nope. It's a detailed, step-by-step forecast of what happens the moment AI can start improving itself. And the picture he paints is a world that could change fundamentally in just a few years.
Now check out this timeline he lays out. He predicts we go from where we are today, GPT-4 level AI, to what's called artificial general intelligence, or AGI, by 2027. That's human-level intelligence. But here's the part that's just staggering. The jump from that human-level AGI to superintelligence, something that's vastly smarter than any human who has ever lived, that might not take decades. It could take months.
So how on earth is a leap like that even possible? Well, the engine driving this whole explosion is a concept called recursive self-improvement. And the best way to understand it is to look at a perfect real-world example that happened just a few years ago.
Remember AlphaGo from Google back in 2016? First, they trained it on thousands of human games. But then, they let it play against itself, millions and millions of times. And pretty soon, it started making these bizarre moves that human masters called mistakes. Only they weren't mistakes. They were genius. And that's the key. Once an AI is good enough to learn from itself, it can blow past every human limit we have.
So that's the fancy term for it. It's a feedback loop, plain and simple. An AI improves its own code, which makes it smarter. Then, that smarter AI is even better at improving its code, so the next improvement happens even faster. You see where this is going? It's an exponential curve, and we are right at the very beginning of that takeoff.
And this is where the whole concept just gets wild. Because that AlphaGo example, it scales up in a way that's hard to even imagine. Right now, all the progress in AI is driven by, a few hundred brillion human researchers? But what happens when the AI itself becomes the researcher?
Just look at this contrast. Aschenbrenner lays it out perfectly. We go from a handful of people working 40-hour weeks, thinking at human speed, to literally tens of millions of AI agents working around the clock, 24/7, no sleep, no coffee breaks, and operating at speeds hundreds, maybe thousands of times faster than our own minds. To really wrap your head around this, think about this thought experiment he uses. There's a legendary researcher at OpenAI named Alec Radford. Now imagine you can make 1 million perfect copies of him. That's what AGI unlocks. You can spin up as many copies of a world-class AI researcher as you have computer chips to run them on.
And this army of AI researchers, they have superpowers, basically. Things humans just can't compete with. They have a perfect, instant memory of every scientific paper ever written. They write and debug code flawlessly. A new breakthrough can be copied and shared with all million of them in a nanosecond. And this is the big one. They are constantly, relentlessly making themselves smarter. This is the engine that will drive that intelligence explosion.
Okay, so what happens when you cram decades of human research and development into a single year? What are the actual consequences? Well, the impact would just ripple through every part of our world, starting with the economy and the military.
For almost all of human history, economic growth was basically flat, near zero. Then the Industrial Revolution came along and kicked it up to about 2 or 3% a year, and that completely remade our entire civilization. Aschenbrenner argues that the superintelligence era could see growth of 30% a year, or more. We're talking about economies doubling in size every couple of years, not every few decades.
The military advantage would be even more jarring. I mean, think about automated drone swarms, robotic armies, new kinds of weapons we can't even conceive of yet. The side that doesn't have superintelligence would be so completely outmatched, it's like bringing horses to a tank fight. It's not even a contest.
And you know, history is full of these moments where a small technological gap creates a massive, decisive advantage. Back in the 1500s, a few hundred Spanish soldiers with steel swords and horses managed to conquer entire empires of millions. Superintelligence is a technological leap that's orders of magnitude bigger than that.
And this all leads to Aschenbrenner's most chilling conclusion. This isn't just about winning on a battlefield. He argues that the power to hack any system, to manipulate public opinion with flawless precision, and to just totally outcompete nations economically could give one single group enough power to destabilize and even take down a superpower.
So all of this brings us to one really important question. If this is so massive, so consequential, why isn't it the #1 headline every single day? Well, the answer might be in a historical parallel with another technology that changed the world forever.
Think back to the 1930s. The idea of an atomic bomb was basically considered science fiction, even by some of the world's top physicists. But once the core science was proven, it went from a wild theory to a terrifying reality in just 5 years. The few experts who saw it coming tried to sound the alarm, but most people just thought they were crazy.
And that is exactly the situation we're in right now. The senior scientists at the top AI labs, the people who actually understand where this is all heading, they see a rapid intelligence explosion as a very real possibility. They're the ones sounding the alarm. But for most of us, to the public, it still just feels like something out of a movie.
According to this analysis, this whole process isn't some far-off possibility. It's already started. AI isn't just going to stop when it gets as smart as us. It's designed to accelerate, to compress decades of change into mere months. So the final crucial point is this: the intelligence explosion is coming. The only real question left is, are we going to be ready for it?